Yeah.
Like whatever crap is going on in your life or in the world or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
completely disconnect you from that for a little bit. And mini golf just happens to be the thing.
Hi, I'm Russ, and this is the Memory Makers Podcast, the show that helps you create amazing customer experiences and make more memories. Breaking news, we are joined by a mini golf celebrity today, none other than Mr. Brooks Holt himself. Brooks, how are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Oh man, I am very excited to nerd out with you as we dive into all things mini golf. And for those of you who do not know who Brooks is, you need to check him out on YouTube. He's got 372,000 subscribers, and it is all mini golf all the time. So Brooks may be the most seasoned, sophisticated palate out there when it comes to mini golf, because he has seen some crazy stuff. And I'm so excited to pick your brain. We're going to dive into, a little bit of your journey, your mindset as an entrepreneur and a content creator, as well as what you've seen out there that really knocks your socks off and creates a great customer experience for mini golf for our listeners. And so let's get right into it. So we were chatting about this before we started recording, and you've been doing this entire dedicated YouTube platform when you have over 2,000 videos over the last 8 years. What started, obviously, a natural inclination of, I really like mini golf and I want to do something with this. How did the initial journey start for you, and what is it about mini golf that was like, I've got to do something fun with this?
So it was a complete accident.
Okay.
It was a complete accident. So I'll try to give the best TLDR version of this. I've been doing YouTube since 2010, 2009, like a very long time amongst different things. And this was 2015, 2016. I was living in Nashville. I was in a band at the time. Band ended, trying to figure out what in the world I do because I just moved there. So I was like, oh, Casey Neistat's the big thing on YouTube. I'll just start daily vlogging and just kind of see what happens. Did that for basically an entire 2 years. Would never do that again. Did that for about 2 years. And 2017, we were down in Myrtle Beach, which is where I'm at right now. And if anyone's been down here, it's like the mini golf capital. There's courses everywhere. And my sister's boyfriend at the time was like, oh, there's this really cool course farther down into straight up Myrtle. We should go play it. I'm like, oh, okay, that'll be the vlog for today. I'll just film the mini golf. Sure. Didn't think anything of it. Filmed it. It was 4 or 5 days later, I think, before that video got posted. And at the time, I was at 2,000 subscribers on that channel, 100 to 300 views a video if I was lucky. Posted that, didn't think anything of it, and it got. These numbers could be a little bit off, so don't quote me on them. But I want to say around 10,000 views in the first day. Wow. And I was like, oh shoot. And then I think it's still in my top 15, 20 videos. It was Mount Atlanticus down near the boardwalk and all that, and posted that. Was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then conveniently the next day for the daily vlogs, we just played another course, and that just happened to be the video I filmed because the videos weren't being released before they were filmed.
Sure.
So I had no idea. That wasn't a planned thing. It just happened to land that way. Those two videos came out back to back. Both of them got a ton of views right off the rip. It was just kind of oh, okay, that's interesting. And then I was living in Nashville at the time. This was 2017, summer 2017. There's a few courses around the area, so we just started kind of playing around with it. Still was doing the daily vlog things. I thought maybe it was just a one-off fluke. Filmed a few more. Those got way more views than the vlogs did. And then come 2018, we were like, okay, I think the channel was at 10 to 15,000 subscribers. It was still pretty small, all things considered. We were like, you know what? Let's just I mapped out a trip. Let's go to all these different areas and see if we can maybe turn this into a thing. Because these are getting the views. People are watching these. People are enjoying them. No one else is doing it. Right. That I was aware of. I don't follow that type of stuff, but no one that I was aware of was doing it. And we're like, let's just get on the road. We went to Chicago, I think parts of Ohio, Minneapolis, that part of the Midwest of the country. Sure. Filmed 60 or 70 videos during that. And then I think from that, the channel went from wherever it was at between, 10 and 20,000 subscribers, maybe 30,000, from that to 100,000 on that trip. Yeah. And that was all of 2018, basically. And I was like, okay, I'm the mini golf guy now. This is going to be the thing. Like the vlog stuff is done. This is what we're going to double down on and
That's dope.
like see if it can keep going. And then we're basically exactly 6 years later
Yeah.
from where we hit 100K. I think I hit 100K in like November of 2018. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And somehow we're still doing it. Somehow people are still watching, and I'm glad they are.
Well,
That's our thing now. So it was a total. It was not a like, oh, this is a market I'm going to dive into.
right.
Like it was a complete accident after doing it for 6-7 years of just trying stuff and just seeing what stuck. And the mini golf was the thing that happened to stick.
Well, I think that's a great point, though, because we talk with folks a lot where it's, people get this idea of, oh, okay, well, you become this big behemoth and like to slap this kind of like overnight success story with it, right? And it's like, you're going to be in the trenches figuring out what works, what doesn't work, just moving the knobs and levers just to see kind of what can gain a foothold. So I love that had such an organic and impactful response to say, oh, this is definitely something that we should, double down on and really lean into. I think the other thing too that has really struck me is the community that you have. Obviously, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, that is a no small feat, especially in maintaining and capturing people's attention. But something that really struck me as I was looking through different videos and looking at just the comments and things, it's like, how much excitement comes on, like the episode that released as we're recording this today, when your parents are on, people recognize and know your parents. They know Alicia, like they love the trash talking and the social competition aspect of it, but they've really kind of latched on to you guys as friends and characters in their lives that they have a relationship with, and also with each other as well. Like you have an incredible community of listeners and followers that go through all of that. As you've taken time to look back on some of that, is there something that has stuck out to you, or that your community has let you know, like why mini golf tends to recognize? Is it because it's something that everybody almost has done with their family at one certain point, but also you guys as human beings, I don't want to label you guys as characters, because you are who you are and it's very authentic and genuine. And that's why I think you also get such a great response from your community. It's like, this is who we are and we're just having fun, and they love to see you guys have fun and compete. Is there anything that sticks out to you as why, mini golf does it? Or it's just, hey, it was something different and we're just being real and genuine?
Dude, that's a really good question. I think most of it's basically exactly what you said. I think it was definitely a right place, right time. Like it was a type of, I guess there was a void because like golf is obviously blown up like crazy since COVID on YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
Like so many awesome channels have come from that. But the mini golf space is even more, I feel like obviously way more niche than that. And I guess it was just a market that no one knew people wanted, maybe. And again, if people were doing it before me, I have no idea. And if so, I mean, no disrespect by saying, but I just have no idea. I think it was just a hole in the market that no one knew was wanted by people, I guess. And just slowly digging my way down into it is the best thing I got. And then the personality stuff is it's something we've been working on more the last few years, because obviously like at first it's just like, okay, just get content out there. Like people are here for the mini golf part of it. They most of them don't really care about who's playing it. They just want to watch the sport.
Yeah, they get to see cool stuff and different things. You're doing indoor and outdoor courses. Yeah, oh, that's a crazy cool theme. Like there's a lot of visual elements that are just captivating to watch and do that. But man, you guys crush it, just because like you and how long have you and Alicia been together? Because she's been in your videos from the beginning, right?
Yeah, so we met in 2015.
That dynamic is fantastic too that you guys have, because you automatically then have, it's not just an expose not just an expose, but like it's that social competition piece that whether it's bowling or it's top golf or it's mini golf, like there's something just fun about some good old fashioned clean fun and competition when those come together
fun,
that way.
That's how we try to market it. Like so Alicia and I, we met in 2015. So like that's why she's been in it since the beginning, is because it was like that's how it basically happened. And like we just try. I know part of it's got to be the thing of like it's stuff that you wouldn't like. This person on the West Coast sees something really cool on the East Coast, like I might never get there.
Right.
and see that. So I know there's definitely a big visual aspect of that. And now we're trying to kind of, the last few years, kind of turn it more towards like, hey, we're just two completely normal people.
Mm-hmm.
And you're hanging out with us for 15, 20 minutes and we're playing mini golf. And that's the focus of
I love it.
the vibe of what it is. So we
I
try to
love
kind
it.
of turn it more personality based and not as much straight up like, oh, here's just two people playing mini golf. Okay, bye.
Right.
And
Right.
people
Right.
have really, for the most part, have really grasped onto that too, which I'm really happy about.
Yeah. I
So
love it.
It's just been a random thing, and we've just been rolling with it. Like you've been doing it for so long now that it's like, I don't want to say it becomes a blur, but it kind of becomes a blur because it's just
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah. Well,
everything
you guys
we do.
have your 10,000 hours in and then some when it comes to it.
Dude,
So,
oh my
I mean,
God.
it's bananas. Well, and it leads me kind of to an interesting point then too, because it starts off as this, hey, I'm trying things, I'm putting it out there, I'm doing that. But then over the course of 5 years, right? Or you jump from, you're jumping to 100,000 subscribers, and then you're hitting 2, and then you're hitting 250,000, and then you're hitting 3. Like all of a sudden that then can change. Hey, how do we not lose the sticky factor or the special sauce that makes this what it is? But then also, how do we look at it of what are new different things that we can infuse into it without abandoning that core, but still create new novel experiences, so that way they don't feel like, oh yeah, I've seen that before, or this or that, because that seems like it would be a challenge over time as well. And so my question would just be like, I view you as an entrepreneur, right? Like this is a business for you, but it's something that you get a lot of fulfillment and gratitude and all of that out of, which is just such a blessing. As you try to formalize some of that now, like what is your mission and vision as you're looking to create new content and connect with your followers and attract new ones through the channel?
You basically summarize exactly what keeps me awake at night. When I have
okay,
those,
so sorry about that.
like the existential crisis or whatever the term is.
Yeah.
You basically summarize that pretty well. Dude, we get asked this a lot, and the way I'm kind of looking at it at this point, one, it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Sure.
And not saying just to be boring and just keep doing the same thing, but it's kind of almost is that in the vein of like, I don't think, and I could be completely wrong, and I'm expecting to be eventually, but like, mini golf is like kind of a sport, it's entertainment, whatever. I don't see it being like a fad. Like it'll have its rise and fall, but it's not gonna be like a fidget spinners or anything like that.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, people are gonna watch it, they're gonna cycle in through it, and they're gonna cycle out of this.
Right.
I kind of look at it almost like in the way of like a dude, not like I'm not comparing myself to them, but like a Dude Perfect style content, and they've obviously evolved their stuff. But it's kind of like okay, like it fits any age demographic and kind of watch it depending on what you're into. So it doesn't super niche in that market either. So any age can watch it, families can watch it, whatever. And if people get tired of it, they'll cycle out and some new person might cycle in.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Just like it's content that it's not relevant forever, but it doesn't, I guess it never blew up in the limelight. So I don't see it falling out of it either.
Yeah. Well, and I tell folks too, because they're like, and we see people ask us all the time, whether it's when axe throwing hit the scene, when escape rooms hit the scene, this, that, and the other. They're like, is this a fad? What's about it? And in my head, I've kind of simplified it down into 3 things where it's like, if you can have something that's social, that's story driven and immersive, it doesn't matter what vehicle you put that through. Like that is the kind of winning recipe that I've seen, because it allows people to come together and celebrate and escape. They're able to do a little bit of that trash talking and friendly competition piece, but you also need something that's going to captivate their attention or have some surprise and delight moments as well with it. And I think that mini golf, I tell folks, because they're like, well, mini golf. And I'm like, mini golf has been around for over 100 years. And there's a reason for that. And it's to your point, like that's something that people go on and do it for date nights. Grandma and grandpa will take the grandkids to be able to do it. You don't have to be a gifted athlete in order to be, in the traditional like LeBron or Jamar Chase kind of vibe to be successful and have fun and enjoy it, right? So it's got an easy point of entry. It's very accessible, but it does have a lot of that social, immersive, and story-driven aspects to it that I think, really, really make that a home run. So,
and we say too with it, like our goal, especially during like 2020, 2021, kind of 2022, like our goal, and it stays that way ever since then. It kind of was like an eye opener for us of like, we just want the videos to be like just not mind numbing, but it's the best way I can describe it, like escape from reality for somebody for 15, 20, 10, whatever the length of the video is. Like just to be a full on pull out of reality.
Yeah.
Like whatever crap is going on in your life or in the world or whatever, completely disconnect you from that for a little bit. And mini golf just happens to be the thing of like, I feel like it's one of those, because I say it for golf too, because I watch some golf creators, of you kind of just like turn it on and like halfway zone out. And it's like, you're watching it in the background. Like you don't even have to be fully paying attention to it, but it's just something to have on to help your brain from just wandering into other places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once that kind of reality hit in during, again, like the COVID era of the world, it was like, okay, that's how I want this to focus now.
Right.
And I'm hoping that helps it like hold out in the longevity side of it.
Yeah.
Obviously time will tell, but
yeah,
we get a lot of comments nowadays of like, this is like, thank you. This was a great 15 minutes to like, I wasn't thinking about other stuff going on in my life or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's, after hearing stuff like that, it's like, okay, that's the goal of what we want the videos to be. And plus it's just, families can put it on. It's PG. Like you don't have to worry about, especially nowadays, with how much stuff is on YouTube and on the internet.
Yeah.
Like parents can put it on there for their kids. We'll get stuff people saying like, oh, like we always, because your videos come out for us 4:00 Eastern time every day, of like, oh, well, like we'll put it on and we'll watch it in the background while we're eating dinner or something like that. Yeah. It's like, okay, I think we're doing something right.
Yeah.
If people can say stuff like that, I feel like we're doing something right.
I totally agree with you. It's almost the nice thing too is because it's got some of that the PG side and being accessible, especially in today's world. Like I'm a huge fan of movies like Deadpool and everything else, but having a 3-year-old also, it's like it's important to have, you know, some PG and wholesome entertainment and fun and seeing people enjoying their time together as well. And I also look at it as, you know, YouTube's such an incredible platform for that because, you know, I always have this fascination of like, I want an AI summary of my YouTube algorithm because there's stuff like old antique toy restorations or woodworking and your stuff or beard meets food, competitive eating things, like whatever it is, it's like, ooh, this is different. I like the person and I feel like I you know, resonate with how they're, you know, going about doing it, and you guys just crush that. So thank you. I
appreciate that.
Of course. Let's switch gears a little bit. And I want to get into some of the actual nuts and bolts of some golf play and kind of get some takeaways from you. Would be, you know, I've seen videos where you guys are playing on cruise ships and at resorts and doing all kinds of exotic locations. What is the coolest abroad location or exotic location that you've gone to play?
Probably, like, we haven't made it outside the U.S. So I'd say probably the biggest or like the most abroad we've done what was probably on the Royal, I don't remember, I think it was the Allure of the Seas was the Royal ship we did. And I think there was one on a Disney ship also, the Disney Fantasy, I believe. That was so long ago. I think those two, so that's probably the farthest. Like my girlfriend, Alicia, she really wants to get out to Hawaii, and that's like on the docket of like places to eventually get to. Yeah. There's a few really cool looking places out there.
Yeah.
For the mini golf stuff. So
there's some places, so Dubai is going through this immense investment and renaissance of out-of-home entertainment, and I've been over there a few times and just like the mall and stuff that they've got and just the over-the-top craziness, like, and it's Dubai in that area is hard to travel to, but Dubai, I was blown away at how like welcoming and friendly and you know, kind of Western engaging that they are with some of that stuff. So that may be something that you guys need to add on too, because there's nothing small about how those guys you know, approach their entertainment these days. So that would definitely be a cool one to add to the list.
Dude, Dubai is on my top 3.
Yeah.
It's Japan, Hawaii, which kind of fit together because you're on that part of the world at that point, in Dubai.
Right.
Those are my top 3 places that I want to. So if anyone happens to see this that is in Dubai and they're building stuff, send me an email.
100%.
I would love to come out there.
Yeah,
see what y'all are doing.
Absolutely. And we'll do a thing at the end as well. But if you are listening to this and you've got a cool golf course, like hit Brooks up. We'll have his piece on YouTube and Instagram, so that way you guys can DM him and reach out, because there's just so many good courses out there. But so have you played mini golf in all 50 states? Besides Hawaii, obviously, but or is that a goal that you want to look at? Like, okay, we got to get up to Alaska, we got to get to South Dakota and play some Mount Rushmore mini golf. Like, what's the?
It'd be cool. Like, we have shout out Nathan, I'm like 99% sure is his name. We have a Google Maps file that between him and I, we keep updated with. I think it's in the if you go to any of our videos, it's in the description.
Righteous.
There's a link to it of every single course we've ever played pinned on a Google Map file.
That's awesome.
You can kind of look at. So I want to say we've probably hit maybe close to 30, which is still wild to me.
It's
like
nuts,
mostly,
isn't it?
mostly like the Montana, the Dakotas, the Northeast, and then like the very Southwest. I feel like is in the north, the very very Northeast, like Connecticut, stuff like that.
Sure.
Because we drive 99% of the places we go to, especially since 2020, and like flying's become a lot more logistically complicated. So the farther you kind of get outside that bubble, the harder it becomes, and just traveling is so expensive nowadays too. So it's like,
dude,
that's the reason why if people follow our channel, we're usually in areas, either big touristy areas or just major cities with like suburbs that are thriving, because it justifies us like spending 15 grand on a trip, being gone for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to pay that off. We can't. People be like, why don't you like come to my town? We got this mini golf course, and then there's like nothing for 2 hours or 3 hours outside of it. I'm like, I would love to if everything was like free and comped. Like I will gladly go wherever.
Well, there we go. There's a new business model. Is
so
you get some of those big Mac Daddy centers that are out there, and they can do like a sponsored episode, and we can.
My email's wide open.
We'll brainstorm some of that stuff. I'll get you connected with some cats.
We've never been. Well, I can't say never. We've only one course has ever like we'll get like they'll like comp games sometimes, like one out of every 50 we play or something like that, because most don't have any clue who we are. Like, like you send an email and you just never hear back type of thing. But we've had it like. One of the courses in Orlando has been like nice to be like, hey, like they pay us like $50. It's like a thank you, because we played there like 5 or 6 times before then and paid, and they're like, y'all gave us great advertisement. Like this is just a thank you. Yeah, that's the only time we've ever been like actually financially compensated back. Like we've never been like try to take money or anything like that.
There's something for the integrity side of the channel, which I can appreciate about that as well. And you know, it's that balance. But let's I'll hook you up with some clients that we know that it's like you guys should do a little
always
something,
grateful.
Something.
Especially
if they're hooked up with like especially like you go to Wisconsin Dells and it's some of those great locations. It's like, well, we own the hotel, we own the water park, and we own the FEC, like all of that kind of thing. So with you saying Wisconsin Dells, I gotta give a shout out to them, because they're one of like 3 or 4 cities that have ever like actually worked with us and like helped when we were there earlier this year. Yeah, in June, I think. Like they covered our food, they covered all the mini golf. Their tourism
like the only thing they didn't cover was our hotel, because we were there for longer than like the typical time. So I was like, thank y'all. Like I was like one of within 5 times that we've ever been like actually like helped via the city from like an advertisement perspective.
Yeah, their tourism board, like I know some of the folks that are involved, because a lot of those resort folks, like they sit on the tourism board and all of that. Like it's just such great people in that entire market, and they are just absolutely fabulous. So we talked about some dream locations that you'd like to play. When you go to a course, what are some of the things that stand out to you that make for a great course versus maybe an average or subpar course, for, pun intended on this episode? But, some of the things, obviously there can be some crazy cool theming. There can be something that's doing something that you've never seen before, but consistently as you play courses that kind of rank in your top ones, what are some of the consistent traits that you see across those that really resonate with you?
I would say I'll start at like the most simple level, and then we can go deeper if we want to.
Sure.
On the most simple, easy to do side, I would just say well maintained and clean. Because I mean, for the hundreds, I can't even tell, like 400 or 500 courses we probably played, individual courses at this point, the amount that you go to, and it could range anywhere from like a course at a driving range to a fun park or whatever, just dilapidated isn't the right word, but just like, don't know the last time it was pressure washed. The turf is all ripped up and torn up. And obviously, depending on the situation, finances, all that, I know it's a big factor. But that's if we're just walking in, we paid, we're walking onto the course, that's the first thing we're going to notice. Before theming, before what the layout is, anything like that, of just, is it even just clean? Like, does it at least visually look okay at minimum? Yeah. And I'd say even now, I'd say 1 out of 5 to 8 that we do could fall into that category of being like, oh wow, like this needs some love. Like, and we played some some courses for like layout that'd probably be in my top 50 that if they were actually like well maintained, the layout would put it there. But
Right.
because it was falling apart and just, you could tell it was like it was built and then it just became just a money pit of like,
Sure.
we're just gonna let this sit here and it'll bring in money until we decide to tear it down eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, man, if they actually put some money into this, this would be really, really good.
Yeah.
But when it doesn't play well, it
Right.
doesn't matter how good or how cool it looks.
Yeah. No, that's
So
a great
on the most
point.
basic level, I would say that. And
Yeah.
then obviously you can get into theming and unique stuff. Like obviously there's some courses that just they thrive on the fact that there's nothing like them.
Right.
Like parking in Chicago gets that. Can up in Minnesota gets that. Some courses like that. All the stuff in Pigeon Forge between Crave and Toy Box, Skyfire,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. They have the theming side down, and they're super well made, and they really take pride. I guess taking just pride in your property. I guess that's the best way to summarize it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, and you mentioned Crave. We were talking offline, beforehand, and Chucky and that whole crew. They just are emphatic and obsessive about maintaining, having everything, the TLC that goes into it on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. Like they just know that is such a critical factor for them, and they do such a great job.
Absolutely.
So with some of the things that you've seen, with some of the courses, like obviously there's really cool new tech inspired golf that you're able to play. You've played some of our Lucky Putt courses. I've seen you play at Putt Shack and some of the other ones like that. Is there, let me put it this way. If you were going to build your dream mini golf mecca, what all would you have be a part of that? And I've got some teaser kind of questions of this or that or both and that kind of a thing. Like, would it be 36 holes and some of that's indoor and outdoor? Would you go with themed? Would you go with real world? Or you want like a Masters prorated level course? Like, what are some of those things that if you were building your dream, location with mini golf as the core tenant and focus of that, like what does that start to look like for you?
So a complete 180 from all of what you just said.
Okay.
And I'm going to give a huge shout out to them because it's incredible what they've done. So Michael from Prehistoric Putt, I know what like his main franchise of courses is out there. He's out in Omaha, Nebraska. We met him a few years ago, and then he helped inspire what's called Party Shack, which there's a course in Raleigh. There's one in Greensboro, and it's all basically, I say made in house is the best way I could think to describe it.
Yep.
But like it's all indoors, so like for me, weather's always a big factor. It's our biggest issue when we're on the road. So it's like get an old. I think one of the Party Shacks is like in an old like Piggly Wiggly or something like that, like an old grocery store. So like find an old warehouse like 20,000 plus square feet, and then what they have built, what Michael has come up with and inspired a lot of other courses through him, is easily the most fun we've ever had playing mini golf. Like bar none. Yeah. And what Party Shack has done on the more like mechanical side, like to kind of take his idea and do it their own way. Yeah. Is I would 100%, those would be the people if I'm like, hey, I'm going to do something. They would be the people that I'd reach out to be like, hey, like help me figure this out. These are my ideas. I love what y'all have done. Like freaking you put it down a tube and you go down a slide into a foam pit, and that has nothing to do with the hole. It's just your way of getting down if you don't want to take the stairs. Like stuff like that. Like I want it to feel like not a fun park is the right word, but it kind of is. And they do so well. They do so well. Absolutely awesome. Michael and John, I was actually just talking with John at the Big IAPA show a couple of weeks back and everything, and we're doing some little stuff here and there with them. Like they're getting a virtual reality system and stuff with us, but how they look at stuff, and because he and I literally sat down for 20 or 30 minutes at IAPA just kind of kicking it and talking through, and he's like, yeah, I'd almost take like this thing that you're doing and I'd infuse this piece with it and doing all of it. And I'm like, oh dude, you're like the Iron Chef of mini golf, man. Like it doesn't matter what mystery ingredient or this or that's, like the way that their team works and envisions that stuff is they are a switched on group of cats for sure. I really enjoy them. And they are such nice people too. Like they've been both Michael up in Nebraska, and then Jimmy and John down here with North Carolina. With Party Shack. They have treated us so well, and they've worked with us so nicely over the years. And what they've built is incredible.
It's incredible.
It's their own thing. Like you can play a course, like for us, obviously we travel a lot. So like you play 20 different Harris built courses, which is fine. Like, cause not many people are playing a bunch of different ones like we are.
Right.
But when you come across something that's like, this is like your own identity of what you've built, and you can like Michael specifically has been able to like market that and expand it like crazy I love it. Yeah. Like we're hoping to get back out there in 2025 because I think he's built like
doing some new
like
locations.
A 4-course location where he upgraded the one in Omaha. And I'm like, dude, we have to come see this.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that one of our thumbnails is on the outside of it on like a scrim too.
Oh, right.
When it was being built, I'm pretty sure he took one of our thumbnails from one of his courses. And it's like a giant scrim. I don't know if it's still there now that the course is open, but I want to find out myself.
Yeah.
So it's a picture of Elisha. And I'm like, dude, if we can get a hold of that, I'm putting it in my garage.
If
you still have it and it's not being used at the course, I'm taking it.
That's awesome.
It's going to in my garage. It's going to be a giant thumbnail of Elisha on the garage wall. But like, if I could literally take what they've done and then add in my own spin of all the different places that we've played that I think have cool ideas and combine that together, that would be the vibe that I would do. No question at all.
I love it. Well, I'm going to say that's a great place for us to hit a wrapping point. I couldn't agree more. And I think that I just want to say, Brooks, thank you for the time. I know that you're out on the road. I'm looking forward to the new content that's going to be coming from the Myrtle Beach. But I'm, if I think, Mike, on this episode, we're going to either have you be the mini golf sommelier or the mini golf connoisseur. But like that needs to be the new title, because I don't know if there's anybody out there that's getting reps in like you guys, but how much I enjoy just, getting to know you through this conversation, but also through your videos and just your passion for fun and being that force for good. I just am very grateful for the time, and so appreciate you joining us. And with that, to our listeners, if you guys are wanting to check out more episodes, be sure to check it out. We've got episodes coming out every week for you. If you like what you heard today, please don't hesitate to subscribe. We always appreciate the 5 stars as well. And if you have ideas for future episodes, or if you've got a course that you need Brooks to check out, hit him up. We're going to put his channel and everything linked in the description and all of that good stuff. But hit him up on social media through Instagram or on YouTube. And we would love to be able to get some additional great courses for you guys to be able to do some content for. Also, big shout out to Mikey Mike on the 1s and 2s working the Ultranet for us. And appreciate you all for joining us today. And we'll see you on the next one, Troublemakers.